So yeah, a lot of my family lives here. So they're the National Guard. Morning.
Morning.
Good. No, we're here to watch the river, sunrise. When I was younger, I would come here and, with my father, enjoy the sunset or the sunrise, or just be here. You know, it's definitely very beautiful. The local church, which is 105 years old, also comes down here and has celebrations once a year. They're called the celebrations de San Miguel. There is a good amount of people that use it in a recreational use. It's just not so much now. Things are a bit different. As I speak right now, we're not alone. We have officers and Border Patrol that are around us. As you can tell, it's just not as comfortable to be around the river. We're so close to the border. Sometimes we'll get very bad signal. And so if you probably look at your phone right now, you'd probably get the welcome to Mexico little message. And so that indicates that you're in Los Ebanos, or that you're close to the border. Soon, I don't know if there's stakes there, but according to the plans, a border wall will run through this area. Or at least, I know for sure that those houses are in its path. There's no way that it can be constructed along the river because it's curvy. So that means that it'll run around this area all the way back there, and it'll cut through some of the people's homes. Los Ebanos, it's a small town here in the RGV. It's composed of 360 people. My dad grew up here, and so did all his family and all my cousins, and a lot of my family lives here. For example, my aunt lives in that house, and I have another aunt that lives further that way. So yeah, a lot of my family lives here. I always say that Mexico is closer to me than McAllen is. Estoy más cerca a la frontera. I'm closer to the border than I am to the nearest city here in the RGV. There, amongst many other misconceptions, this false narrative that the borderland, this border area is dangerous. And I'm here to say that it's not. We're not afraid of anybody crossing. We're not afraid of our neighbors. We're not afraid of the people around us in this community. We're afraid of our own leaders, our political leaders.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
That's a sound that I wish I wasn't there. That's the sound right now of construction, where they're planning to come in and bulldoze the back of the church. We hear the construction machines coming closer and closer, and that makes us a little anxious, or a lot anxious. The church was built in 1874. What I represent here is my family. There are two cemeteries that belong to two brothers. This is my great-great-grandfather. We're going to be in no man's land. We're going to be over here. And how are we going to get across the fence whenever For example, I already have my cemetery plot here. How am I going to get across to be buried here? I feel very strong that it's something that is not needed. I've lived here all my life, and I've never had any danger with anybody that's come across from Mexico. I live minutes away from the river. I've got children. My wife lives there. I would never have them there if I knew it was dangerous. If it was reversed and I was in the grave, I feel very strongly that my ancestors would be fighting this battle. They would do it for me. They would do it for my sister. They would do it for other relatives. So I want to do it for them.
This is a fight worth fighting for you.
You have to fight this. You have to.
Most people would say that I have a nopal en la frente because, you know, I'm not the typical white guy that you'd probably see saying this. You know, I'm a product of immigration. My mom's from Reynosa, my dad's from Cuba, so you know. But that doesn't take away from the idea that a nation has the right to secure its borders, you know? My mom has said herself that she would not be doing a service or she would be doing a disservice to the Hispanic Latino community in the Valley if she wasn't for the wall. Many misconceptions come with the border, a lot of them being racism, anti-Semitism, and a plethora of other ideas. But what it comes down to is what we are willing to give up in order to create a safer environment for those over here, you know?
That's question number one. And then you get a yes or a no from the person you are surveying. The second question will say, what are your most important issues right now? And then the answers that will populate are like employment, infrastructure.
But when you hear the wall, the border wall, Trump's border wall, what do you think?
I think a great opportunity for more infrastructure funding for the area. This is a way to protect private property as well to funnel illegal activities. I would think protecting children from not being trafficked, drugs from not coming into our schools, and just protecting our community is a very good use of condemning land for public use.
And we've lived for all our lives.
This is the farmland that my grandma bought in the early 1950s. She used to make tamales, tortillas, whatever, and go from town to town to pay for it. And she finally paid it off. She wasn't allowed to sign for it because she was Hispanic.
Usually, like, people feel intimidated to sign, and so they'll sign because, I mean, it's kind of intimidating when there's people forcing you, like telling you if you don't sign, we'll take you to court. And so that happens very often. But we have some people that will say, I'm not going to sign, and you'll have to take me to court. So this is Alida's home, one of the community members, and there is plans for the wall to kind of cut through the center of her backyard. There's more people that are facing that same reality as her.
I don't plan to give up the land.
All these properties you see right here, Fernando, are renters. And so this really is Lisa and Fred's income. If that happens, then they've lost their livelihood. He doesn't have much money for medical bills as far as Medicare or Medicaid or whatever. He gets a disability check, but they only give him a wheelchair like every 5 to 10 years.
It just seems like every elected official and everybody who is pushing for a pro-wall agenda fails to acknowledge that the people, fails to acknowledge that it'll even affect people.
Those 3 are all kid-sized life jackets. So people come across the river, so they wear the life jackets, and then they bring ladders with them and use those to get up over the wall. It's not complicated. I mean, I climbed a section of border wall in far less than a minute in Arizona a couple years ago. You can see all of these skid marks coming down the wall over here. That's from people climbing it. You know, bollards are not difficult to climb. The Lower Rio Grande Valley National Wildlife Refuge was established because we have a tremendously high amount of biodiversity here, including federally endangered species like ocelot, jaguarundi, and others. And the walls that were built, 2009, 2010, and then the new walls that are going up, chop that habitat apart and make it so that, instead of moving from one piece of forest to another, they're blocked.
This area is flood prone. So even without any wall, every couple of years the river will flow out and the community is forced to leave, evacuate. Seriously though, I get very overwhelmed. Now it feels like it's becoming a reality. It just symbolizes way much more than just a border wall. It's much more than that. It symbolizes a lot of the things that hurt our community: hate, separation, pain, suffering, and death. Even just the idea of the border wall already affects us. It already makes us feel like we're already trapped, but there is no border wall yet. Can you imagine what an actual physical barrier would imply?